Let's talk about the recent 4 mass shootings in the past 5 years. Colorado Springs shooter identified as non-binary. Denver shooter identified as trans. Aberdeen shooter identified as trans. Audrey Hale, the Nashville shooter, identified as trans.
So tell me, Congress Karen, how many shootings have there been in the last 5 years? 2,697. And how many of those were trans people? 4.
This is what left-wing extremism and violence stems from, is the movement that wants to use trans terrorism against Americans, violating the whole idea of biological science.
You know there are trans and intersex animals, right? Clownfish, cardinals, bearded dragons. Being trans is just as natural as you being the stupidest member of Congress. But back to the numbers. Marjorie Taylor Greene is not the only one parroting this nonsense talking point. My evil step-cousin Benny Johnson is saying the same thing, that all trans people are now terrorists. And this is all real rich, coming from a party who tried to overthrow democracy by storming the Capitol when they lost an election.
Murder. You think this is funny? Ms. Spitalnick, is this funny to you? Is babies being murdered in the womb funny to you? Because you're smirking and laughing at me right now.
What's not funny are the Black people and Hispanic people and Jewish people and Muslim people who have been murdered in synagogue, in church, in supermarkets, in mosques by white supremacists.
Gee, I wonder what the common thread is amongst all of these murders. I wonder how many more thoughts and prayers I have to give before all this violence stops. It's the guns! The guns are the problem. I know you gun fetish loving Republicans don't want to hear that because you worship your gun more than you worship white Jesus.
Just recently, there was a Trans Day of Vengeance, which is definitely not right-wing extremism or violence. This looks terrifying, and it's definitely from the left, because on the right, I can assure you we believe in 2 genders. It's male and female.
543 anti-trans bills have been introduced in 49 different states, seeking to block trans people from receiving basic medical care, to education, to legal recognition. Republicans are the ones that are waging this war, this trans genocide, and they're somehow claiming that they're the victims? MTG and the right wing's talking point of trans people being somehow dangerous is all a distraction from the real issue. The rising number of mass shootings occurring because of Republicans constantly repealing gun laws in order to keep us safe, leading to more guns getting in the hands of citizens prone to violence. But while we're breaking down the numbers, the Gun Violence Archive recorded more than 4,400 mass shootings in the last decade. Of those, the number of known suspects in mass shootings which are transgender is under 10 for the last decade, which translated to 0.11% of the 4,400 mass shootings. So who are the rest? Well, the Gun Violence Project found that in 2021, 168, which is 97.7%, of mass shooters in their database were men, cisgender men, not trans people. For Pete's sake, it's not trans people. It's the guns. Reduce the guns, reduce the shootings. Ban AR-15s and assault weapons. Increase and actually implement universal background checks. Strengthen red flag laws. Seriously, it's the guns. It's not trans people. My name is Scott Johnson. You can find more of me on my YouTube, which is in the description below, as well as my TikTok. We hit 65,000 followers. And most importantly, do not forget to smash that subscribe button to the breakdown and binge watch all the other videos, because they're pretty awesome.